suppose I've been developing this icon series where I have a look at automotive icons and see if they've really earned the name or earned the status. One thing that really stands out is that the brand, after its first iteration, once it becomes something else, it's no longer about that product anymore. It's about the brand itself, and the brand takes on its own life. If, for example, you have a look at something like the Jeep Compass, it still has the trademark, I think it's 7 vertical slats in its grille to say, look, I'm a Jeep too. But really, that's not, it's not really a Jeep. It's not a Jeep as far as physical continuity goes or functional capability. It's now become a Jeep by association. I mean, this sort of stuff has been happening for a long time, where the brand becomes the actual commodity. It becomes the actual product itself. Because the image that this particular brand or icon has, the image that this brand tries to convey, is really what's attracting the customer. And it's funny, because people don't really relate with it that way. They do maintain that link from one product to the next, even though the true link is really just a name. And that really matches up with the way that modern manufacturing works as well, because no longer will a company build a vehicle from go to woe. It's less common for a particular manufacturing facility to make everything on site. And I guess people have known that for quite a while as a fact, but it doesn't really come to the fore when you're actually going to purchase a vehicle. You're not looking at it going, oh, you know, I like this particular brand of car, but in this particular product I don't like the fact that they've sourced their fuel injection software from Bosch because they've got issues about something or other. Or I don't really like this particular BMW because this one has the CVT gearbox, whereas I like the conventional automatics from ZF. They're far smoother and more responsive. And people don't really go through that sort of mental process external to enthusiasts. And I guess some people who call themselves enthusiasts, and rightly so, because anyone that's enthusiastic about a car can be considered an enthusiast, I guess, by definition. But some of these people probably don't put the amount of thought into where something comes from when they go to purchase something. So, for example, they see a BMW and say, oh, I'm buying a German car. Or you look at BMW and say that it's a German brand. Now that is actually very accurate, because BMW is a German brand. But that doesn't mean you're buying a German car. I mean, I've already gone through this before in one of my previous videos when I was talking about the source of manufacturing for some of their products. So, for example, the X5 comes from the United States, and Mercedes-Benz do the same thing with the ML class. You know, they're touted as German brands, and that's the truth of the matter. But when people hear German brand, they consider that the product is also German. So, as you can see there, the commodity that they're trading on, again, is the brand. It's the perception that you're buying something from Germany. Now, of course, the same thing happens with Holdens, where this is the Barina RS. It's quite a nice little car. It's not built in Australia, and I don't think anybody thought it was, but it's a Holden, so you've got that perception in the head that you're buying an Australian car because it's an Australian brand, even though Holden itself is a subsidiary of General Motors. Now, there's been this big argument about whether or not Chevrolet will come to Australia when the Elizabeth plant stops manufacturing Holdens in 2017. That's the last quarter is when they're supposed to end manufacturing. And there was speculation that the Chevrolet brand was going to come in and take over. And there is potential for it to happen, I guess, and there's rumours about people in meetings showing pictures of Commodores with Chevrolet badges on them to justify bringing the actual Chevrolet brand to Australia. But really, the brand itself, the little Holden hat that sits on top of the Marina and the Captiva and the Cruise and the Commodore, the source of where it's made is kind of irrelevant. But it's not irrelevant to the people that work there, and it's not irrelevant to people like me, because I like to think that, you know, I'm supporting some Australian jobs by buying a Commodore. But people haven't really been thinking that far past the brand itself when they go to buy a Holden. So why should it be any different when they stop manufacturing Holdens here? Because you've always been buying the brand. You haven't been buying the location of the build. You haven't been buying the source of the product. You've been buying football, meat pies, kangaroos and Holden cars. You haven't been buying football, meat pies, kangaroos and products of the Elizabeth plant in South Australia. I guess some people have, like myself, but I've also been buying into the brand as well. And as long as that stays, there's no reason why they can't do better. Of course, it sucks ass that they have to stop building it in Adelaide. I'm pretty fucking disappointed about that. But the brand is still there, as it always will be. Unless they bring in Chevrolet, and then they can just go and get